So the big question is this: what is life like on tour when you're playing professional golf? Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's tough. That's the question, and this is the podcast that's going to give you the answer. Welcome to Tales of the Tour on Stock Shot Secrets. Welcome back to another episode of Stock Shot Secrets and Tales of the Tour, where I'm joined with my beloved wife, and we're going through all of the stories of how many blogs like written in Aramaic
from KyleMorrisGolf.com.
KyleMorrisGolf.com of just tales of the tour, like highs and lows, and what's it like to travel and caddy. And
it's fun documenting this because now our kids can. I love listening to this with the kids in the car.
Do you?
They get a kick out of it.
I wonder if people listen to this podcast. I'll never.
I don't know anyone out there.
I don't ever check.
How would you know?
Daniel, don't ever tell us.
How do you know? Like, you can see how many people are.
You can see it, yeah.
So listen, but we're doing this for our kids.
Yeah.
The kids love it, and my mom and dad love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, every single episode, my dad's like, "This is just great." My mom's like, "We love you."
DaughterCyleMorrisGolf.com.
You guys are the best.
Okay, so now we get ready to. I've just met Bender. I've been enlightened. I just shot 23 under and 36 holes. Lights out. And then we go home.
We fly home from the Pro-Am in Florida.
As a thing, because of the golf room everywhere and like doing all these remote lessons, this is where the first seed of online lessons was bred. Because when I was with Mike, I was like, all right, like, you're here. I'm in Arizona. You're expensive, rightfully so. I can't fly out here every week. What's the plan?
What do we do?
And he goes, well, you're going to like send me videos back and forth with V1, and I'll give you like the drill that you need to do, and you don't need to be in person because we're going to do with feedback and cones and noodles and sticks and whatever. Tools, right? So like you just come out here like every couple months or every quarter. I was like, oh.
Cool.
Okay. And then the thing that was different about him is that he was one of the first coaches where, and it's probably good for, well, you and I have talked about it just, behind closed doors, but he was the first coach where it was like, if I had a question, I could text him and he would actually get back to me.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas most of them, they're like, yeah, sure, book a lesson, and then I'll answer your question.
You and Bender have a good bond, though.
Yeah. So, and he was the first one where it was like, he wouldn't ever just leave me high and dry and be like, oh, yeah, just like, we'll see you in a couple months. It was like he would get back to me, and that's where I think my communication's like the same thing, to where I don't want to
leave anyone hanging.
I don't really care about the money. Just let me help. Right?
Yeah.
Like Ben King came in the other day for 15 minutes. He's like, I just need a putting thing. I'm like, all right, just stop in, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. So we get on the road, and it sounds like we should just go on the road for 6 months.
We went out for 6 months. We drove 1,924 miles from Scottsdale. We stopped in Van Horn, Texas.
But what, to the point, where was Bo?
I don't know where Bo was. I don't know.
He wasn't in Arizona.
I don't know if there's nothing in here that said that.
Just leave him in Ohio?
No. Oh.
Did we just leave him with your parents?
We might have left him.
Or bars.
He might not have come back with us in the fall of 2010.
Because we said we're going to be back there for 2 months, and
that's highly likely. Yeah.
James is a good boy, though.
Way to abandon our dog.
Right.
What are we thinking?
It's crazy.
Which Bo is still alive.
Yes.
He is.
Still kicking.
Dude is. He's like a puppy. I just took him to the vet like 2 days ago, and they're like, gosh, he acts more like a puppy than Tuffy. And I'm like,
no way.
Yeah, right. When they get home, Tuffy's like
just
chewing on Bo's ear.
Well, Dolphars. Okay, so then
we
go
drive cross country.
Yep, we go cross country. We stop. Oh, where was that Mexican town?
Van Horn, Texas. Literally the small little border town.
And
I'm pretty sure this was it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember the drive down there?
Drive down where?
To Van Horn. So we head south out of
I remember
Phoenix.
Is it Cortez? Is that the city that's on the other side?
No. Do you remember what I brought on this trip? And we were like, this is delicious.
Yeah.
I had recently discovered Nutella.
Yes.
And pretzels. And we're like, this is so good. So
it's not called chocolate. It's called Nutella.
It's Nutella. So, of course, you'd pack up the car with a bunch of snacks. And this was a road trip. So we are 10 minutes in the road trip. And we're like, gosh, let's have some Nutella and pretzels. We start chowing down. Half the jar's gone, and we're like,
and then one of us look at it. We're like, I wonder how many calories are in this. And it's
like 5,000 for
like
one tablespoon.
It's legit like a little tablespoon was like 400 calories.
Yeah.
We're like, well, we just had 40
Oops.
teaspoons.
We're like, maybe that's why that tastes so good.
We were kind of pork chops back then.
We were packing on the pounds.
But
you have a blog in here called Packing on the Miles, and I'm like, it should really have been Packing on the Miles.
But to our point, like you would have thought that like we would be more fit because we were scaling
walked
7 miles a day. But the
the
problem
math is not
it was your problem because you're like, I want pasta. And then I was like, I just missed a cut. Just give me a beer.
But the thing is like we didn't really drink much back in the day. So the calories weren't from alcohol. But like on the golf course, we would have peanut butter and jellies. So it's like the math is not mathing.
Yeah, but
the calorie intake and the calorie outs.
I mean, nutrition on a golf course is really important in general. So, like, while you're burning calories, right, your whole life, which is an episode on this thing by itself, of the amount of selfishness that takes place as a tour player.
Oh, gosh.
Right? Like, the whole world revolves around the player's schedule. So it's like, we have a tee time at 7. I had to wake up 3 hours and 15 minutes before my tee time. So I was like, okay, we're going to bed and I'm waking up at 3:45 and I know, yep, it's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Turn out the lights, Les. We're going to sleep. What?
Torture.
Right. So, but I mean, you would eat breakfast, then you would tee off at 9, and then it's like, you got to have a snack at 10, then you have lunch at 12, and it was like just snack, lunch, like it was all these meals.
But we would have
snacking.
But our snacks would be like an apple or like sometimes goldfish.
Yeah, it wasn't like we were putting Snickers in our face,
but that's where I'm like the calories just don't add up unless we went crazy at dinner time, which I mean I don't really feel like that we did.
I don't know.
But I guess eating out every single night, there's so many hidden calories in restaurant food. Yeah. There was no choice.
Yeah.
So
that town was scary.
So we stopped in Van Horn, Texas, which I'm pretty sure that's the little border town. And you could like literally see across the water. The
fence.
The fence was right there.
I think the town's called Cortez.
Okay, so and it was
like we
Narcos.
looked it up and it was like the #1 drug cartel, and we're like,
what are we doing?
It's like this is
was scary.
This is
so
a bad spot.
Yeah, we hightailed it out of there. We head over to Dallas, and we stopped and we hung out with the Posies.
Yep.
Took us through Dallas.
That's where they lived in Highland.
They lived Highland Park.
Yeah, which
near
is
there
really,
or
really
right
nice.
there. Yeah, that was a beautiful area.
We were there, and we're like
we should move. This
here.
is where we need to be.
Yeah.
Good little shopping and everything.
Yep.
And then we went to Fayetteville, Georgia, which I do not. We stayed with the family, the Merritts.
You had mentioned that. And
sorry to the Merritts out there. I don't remember this at all.
I don't even remember Fayetteville. It's
Fayetteville, Georgia.
I mean, I know Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Just south of Atlanta. It says that you had a great tour life week there. I don't remember this at all. Then we went to Thomasville, Georgia.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
I don't remember that. And then we went to McCormick, back to McCormick, one of our favorite spots, which was like the masters of Hooters tour.
This time we were with Grant and Anna.
We were with Grant and Anna. Love staying with them. They
always
treat
had
us like that we were their children.
They always had a great, speaking of food, they always had a great Reuben at McCormick.
Did they?
I got the Reuben for lunch. Maybe every day. Maybe that's why.
I think that's where the pounds came on. So Savannah Lakes is in McCormick, South Carolina, and it's just this little retirement village of a golf course, and the big thing to do there during the week is play golf
and eat Reubens.
And eat Reubens. And when the Hooters tour comes in town, they come out. Your host families come out and watch you. All the families come out and watch you. It's just like
we've talked about that in previous episodes, but it was literally the greatest week ever.
We became like surrogate kids, I feel like, of Grand Anna's.
So
they
many
just
events,
treated us so well.
It was an amazing week.
Yeah,
minus my allergies that week.
Yeah, that was always tough. Yeah, so.
And then we go to, after that, does that then go to Scotch Hall? Hey guys, I hope you are enjoying this episode of the Stock Shot Secrets podcast. If you are enjoying it, be sure to like this episode. Be sure to subscribe so you can always see when they're coming out. And most importantly, if you would be so kind to be able to share this podcast with other passionate golfers who are trying to get better and build stock shots, because it grows through you sharing it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And now back to Stock Shot Secrets.
Scotch Hall with the Avoca Classic. Yes, so we're now kind of in May. middle of May, and we head to Scotch Hall.
Which is where
oh my gosh, I have the most terrifying story of this course. Oh my gosh.
of Scotch Hall.
This is literally I have had nightmares about this. Okay.
Serious?
Yes. Do you remember on the course? We stayed with a great family there. We'll get to that here in a minute. Oh my gosh, it makes me so nervous even actually like saying this. Do you remember on the course, to get to one of the holes, you had to go over like a swampland?
Yes. And there was the moccasins. Or moccasins.
So apparently there were, I don't know if they have rattlesnakes there too, but there were some huge snakes that were found on the course.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm like literally like my heart rate is like through the roof thinking about this because I think it's measuring. But I think snakes are like my biggest fear. And it's like literally
112.
112.
Goodness, child.
Just talking about snakes.
Just chill out.
So there were some snakes on the golf course and they were caught and they chopped their heads off and they threw them in the swamp. But then you walk through the swamp and oh my gosh, I can see this plain as day.
You're walking on the bridge.
You're walking on the bridge, but the swamp was long. And if you there were no sides to the wood bridge. It was just like a small little lip. So if you like tripped, you're in the swamp with the dead, they threw the dead snakes in there. And I remember walking by and seeing them and just like freaking out.
I remember now.
And it's always been something that.
You know what happened also that was going, since it's kind of talking about some character stuff and we talk about how golf works on you more than you work on golf. There's certain moments like in my life of just being on a golf course and like, we had a really good band of brothers that would like that we were walking through life with, and
bunch of newlywed couples.
Yeah. So I remember being on, this is a very minor detail, but I remember being on that next tee box and I hit a drive. I'm playing with Matt Harmon.
Okay.
And I hit a drive, and as players, like, I don't know, this is kind of a stupid story, but I hit a drive and Matt's like, hey, great shot. And as players, you're just like, you kind of just pick up your tee.
I'm like starting to sweat because like I'm so nervous about that snake story. Sorry. Ooh, I need to cool down.
I hit a drive and I'm like, he goes, oh, great shot. He goes, great shot. And you kind of pick up your tee and you're kind of like, you just kind of like give a nod. And he goes, it's okay to say like, thank you.
Yes, he called you out. I remember this.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm a jerk off.
And you were buddies with Matt.
I wasn't trying to be a jerk off, but it's like, there's something.
You're so in your head.
Yeah, you're so in your head. And what's so hard, not to go on a tangent, but the etiquette right now in junior golf is so bad. I mean, so bad. Like, so bad. I mean...
Bad? Is it bad?
So bad.
How was your etiquette growing up?
To be honest, my first thing that when my dad took me to Hidden Valley, the par 3 course, the first 2 lessons we did when we played, the whole day was just on etiquette of the game.
Yeah.
The whole day was like where to stand, where to put the bag, like don't stand behind a guy, like blah, blah, blah. And
that was a big thing for me. I was so nervous to caddy to make all those mistakes.
Yeah, but now it's like, kids are like rattling Cheetos while they're playing, like they're listening to TikTok videos on the
kids these days are just, let's not even go there.
But it's just like, me and Kyle Mitchell were talking about, it's like, this is like 3 months of training for the academy just in itself of just how to be.
Maybe that's what you gotta, that needs to be a whole chapter.
But the reason it's like that is because all the tour organizations are always like, and they're right, because they were just people who play slow, but they're like, you gotta play slow, you gotta play faster, you gotta play faster, you gotta play faster. But they just, it's bad.
Do you know, I remember, speaking of etiquette, I have a good story with that in Miami, Oklahoma, but we're not there yet. I think that's next year. But I remember being in Savannah Lakes, and I don't remember what year it was, but we were playing with, I cannot remember this guy's name for the life of me.
Was it good?
What?
Was it good?
No. You hit a ball, you went to get your ball, and you walked through his through line.
Yes.
And he called you out. And I remember you didn't, I
told the academy kids about I was talking about the academy.
Was that at Savannah Lakes?
Yeah, so a through line is essentially like if I have a 6-foot putt Like, that's me, the putt, me to the hole. And then if I miss the 6-foot putt and the ball goes past the hole 3 feet, that's then the through line. So
how are you supposed to know what someone's through line is?
Well, it's just like it's like the imaginary line past the hole if they miss.
Yeah, but if they miss, they could make the putt and it lip out and then it goes to the right.
Maybe.
You're just saying on the line that they have, their through line is through the hole.
Yeah, like you have to be kind of considerate. Like, this guy's probably not going to make it. So, like, especially if it's a short one, like, don't go do a tap dance by the hole. And people just don't realize, like, footprints have a massive impact on a putt.
I remember this guy calling you out, and I almost want to be like, don't you talk to my husband like that.
Ride or die.
There were times I called a couple guys out on the course.
You're ride or die. You're a real...
Two specific times.
You're a real-life gangster.
I am. Don't mess with my husband, and don't mess with his golf game. A couple of stories are coming up, specifically in California, when I had to fire a caddy for getting mouthy.
While pregnant.
You know how to mess with me. And then another guy who in North Augusta, Georgia, who was a little feisty on the hole behind us, and I called him out.
Yeah.
And was like,
you were screaming from the fairway.
No, I went up to him and I was like, you are immature as heck. Life. Don't cross me. Anyway, so yes,
your
you
heart
got
rate back up again now?
I don't know. So yeah, back to Avoco Classic.
But Scotch Hall, that was the original place where the
So Matt was like, it's okay to say.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was like, yeah.
You're right.
And that's
Matt
one
Harmon's
of those,
a buddy.
Yes, and he was doing it out of love and grace, right? Like, he wasn't being a jerk. But to that day, I was like, it's one of those memories where I was like, yeah. So now when people are like, hey. And then when the junior kids, I go, hey, nice shot. And I go, it's okay for you to say thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
They're like, oh, okay.
Just because they're not satisfied with the shot, they think that.
But to the point, you're never satisfied.
True.
If I shoot 70 playing a round of golf, I will hit 2 shots where I go, wow, that's great. After that, I have 64. I probably have 64 shots that are probably 65 shots that are like between a 4 and a 7 out of 10, which are just like, they're whatever.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 or 3 shots which are like, wow, that is really bad.
Yeah.
I just hope I don't miss them at the wrong time and they cost me a penalty.
Yeah.
But, like, that's golf. Like, you hit 1-2 shots around that are, like, amazing. So it beats you up pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's break there. That's
Hold
a
on,
good...
Can we just talk about that house really quick? So that was in Edenton, North Carolina, and they lived in town.
Yeah, the porch.
This was a family. They had another home in California. That's right. They had 2 homes. This was like, I don't know, their second home. And it was this beautiful old mansion with this beautiful front porch. And they had completely remodeled the home to like its glory of like 1902. It was one of them. And
you're a big front porch gal.
I'm a big front porch gal, but I love seeing when someone brings a home back to its grandeur of like how it was.
Yeah.
That was such
and the
a
house
neat
that
town.
I had before that, because you didn't say that year, the one we were there before, was that big plantation house.
That home was beautiful
which
too.
Was sweet.
Yeah. So.
All right, well, cool.
Yeah.
We good now?
Yeah. I just
all right, well, thank you guys so
house.
much for tuning in for another episode of Stock Shot Secrets with Tales of the Tour with my beloved wife, Lesley. I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and we'll see you guys back here next time for another episode. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of the Stock Shot Secrets. Now, I want to give you a special opportunity where you and I can chat individually by just simply texting the following number, and you can ask any question under the sun about anything relative to your game or your skill, body, mind, whatever it is. So just text me at 614-541-1988. That's 614-541-1988. Subscribe to our text line, and then you can be in the special Stock Shot community where we can talk about everything under the sun regarding stock shots.